her Agnes Thomson, the woman with a broom, a blanket, and 9 lives. For 27 years, she swept the same cracked sidewalks of Brixton Street, London, the kind of place where neon lights blinked over broken dreams and rain carried secrets into the drains. People saw her every morning, wrapped in her gray shawl, pushing her old metal cart, humming songs from another time. They called her the Street Angel. But few knew that Agnes had no family, no home, no safety. The streets were her church, her bed, her battlefield. She had seen everything. Drug deals gone wrong, street fights ending in blood, lovers turning to killers. But nothing prepared her for the night of March 9th, 2021. That was the night she saw murder. The night that turned a street cleaner into a target. The night death started chasing her. It was close to midnight. The rain was cold and heavy, the kind that blurred everything into shadows. Agnes was cleaning near Victoria Bridge, muttering to herself about how people never care where they threw their trash. Then she heard it, the argument, a man's voice shouting, "You can't just walk away from this, Kinsley." Another voice, young, confident, "You think your father scares me? I own him now." She froze behind a lamppost. Through the mist, she saw 3 men, tall, wearing dark coats, surrounding a well-dressed young man. His gold watch glinted under the streetlight. That was Kinsley Powell, the 25-year-old son of a powerful British politician. One of the men drew a gun. Kinsley lifted his hands, trembling. "Please, you don't understand." The shot cut through the rain. Kinsley dropped. Agnes gasped too loud. The men turned. One of them shouted, "Who's there?" Her broom clattered to ground. And just like that, Agnes Thomson became a witness and a target. She ran through puddles, through trash piles, through alleys she'd known since her teens. But that night, those alleys didn't protect her. A figure appeared at the other end of the lane, one of the killers. He moved fast, knife glinting in the rain. Agnes ducked behind a dumpster. Her heart thudded like a drum in her chest. He kicked over bottles, scanning the shadows. "Come out, old woman," he hissed. Her hand brushed something cold, a broken glass bottle. As he turned the corner, she swung wildly. The glass slashed his arm, by her seconds. He screamed. She bolted, barefoot now, her shoes lost in the mud. He chased her to the street, just as a bus roared past, spraying water everywhere. She darted across, and the bus clipped him, sent him flying. He didn't get up. Agnes kept running. First death escaped. 2 days later, she was hiding in St. Mary's Homeless Shelter, a rundown building where the coffee tasted like smoke and the walls smelled of old sorrow. She thought she was safe. That night, she smelled something burning, stronger than cigarettes. Then someone shouted, "Fire!" The shelter exploded in chaos. People screaming, flames crawling up the curtains. The exit was blocked by fallen beams. She coughed, covering her mouth with her shawl. Smoke filled her lungs. She staggered toward a window, too high to reach. That's when she saw it. The same black car from Victoria Bridge parked outside, engine running. They'd found her. They set the fire. Agnes dragged a chair under the window, smashed the glass with her elbow, and climbed out, her shawl catching fire as she fell. She hit a trash bin, breaking her wrist but surviving. Behind her, the building roared into flames. 11 people died that night, but Agnes lived. Second death escaped. The police finally came for her the next day. They wanted her statement, but the killers wanted her silence. Somehow, they knew she was going to testify. At Oxford Street Underground Station, while an officer escorted her, the crowd pressed tight. She felt a shove from behind. The officer screamed, "Agnes!" She fell onto the train tracks. The train lights were already there, blazing toward her. She rolled, barely missing wheels, A man in a brown coat jumped down and pulled her out seconds before the train thundered by. The crowd gasped. When she looked for the man, he was gone. No one ever identified him. Third death escaped. Weeks later, she was placed under witness protection. A new name, a new town, Agatha Price. They move her to Leeds, far from London. For the first time in years, she slept in a bed. She thought maybe, just maybe, death had grown tired of chasing her. Until that night, she was crossing a quiet street near her new flat when she saw headlights, fast, blinding, and too deliberate. A black van was coming straight for her. She dropped her groceries and froze like a deer. At the last second, she dove into a narrow alley, scraping her shoulder on the brick wall as the van screeched past, smashing into a lamppost. She lay there trembling, heart pounding, realizing what saved her wasn't reflex. It was instinct, a survivor's instinct, the kind that never sleeps. Fourth death escaped. Months later, she agreed to testify. The trial of the Powell killers was set for October 4th, 2022. The prosecution called her the key witness. The tabloids called her the ghost of Brixton Street. She stayed in a government safe house, guarded, fed, monitored, or so she thought. One morning, she woke to the smell of tea. A kind officer named Sergeant Lee brought her breakfast. He smiled kindly. "You must be tired of this, Miss Price." Almost over now. She drank. Minutes later, her throat burned. Her chest tightened. She gasped for air, grabbing her neck. Lee's smile faded into something colder. He whispered, "You should have stayed quiet." He was one of them. She collapsed, heart pounding, vision fading. But before he could finish the job, his phone buzzed. He turned, and she used that second to grab the only thing near her, a porcelain plate. She smashed it across his face and ran out the door. She stumbled into the hallway, screaming, "He's trying to kill me!" Guards rushed in and found Lee convulsing on the floor. The poison meant for her had splashed into his cup when she knocked it over. He died. She lived. Fifth death escaped. After that, Agnes was moved again, deeper into hiding. The police told her the trial would proceed with or without her, but the men she'd seen on Victoria Bridge were still out there. One of them, the tall one with a scar, was still free. He had promised to silence every witness, and Agnes was the last one left. She no longer trusted anyone. Not the police, not the system, not even herself. She stopped sleeping, stopped eating. Every sound at night felt like footsteps. Every shadow looked like a man waiting for her. Death wasn't chasing her anymore. It was watching her. Then one morning, she found a letter slipped under her door. No name, no stamp, just 6 words written in red ink. "You escaped 5 times, Agnes. For remain." Her hands trembled. She looked out the window, and across the street, a man in a black coat stood watching her. The same scar, the same cold eyes. She screamed, but by the time the police arrived, he was gone. Agnes knew it now. The hunt wasn't over. It was just beginning. When the letter came, Agnes stopped pretending she was safe. "You've escaped 5 times, Agnes. For remain." Those words sat on her tongue like poison. She knew what they meant. Someone was counting her deaths and waiting for the last one. The government moved her again, this time to the coast, a quiet fishing town in Cornwall, where the wind carried salt, and everyone knew when a stranger arrived. Her new identity was Ellen Parker, age 62, retired. They told her she'd be there until the trial is concluded. But the trial kept delaying, and the killers kept searching. Agnes Thomson didn't believe in miracles anymore. But she believed in one thing, that death had her scent. And it was only a matter of time before it came again. It started one cold morning in early December. She had walked down to the pier, her breath rising in white clouds. For the first time in months, she felt something like peace. The sound of seagulls, the slow rhythm of waves, the fog wrapping the world in quiet. Then she saw it. A small boat drifting near the rocks. Empty, the oars floating beside it. Something about it pulled her closer. She stepped onto the pier, then onto the boat, meaning to tie it down. That's when she heard the click of a rope being cut. Before she could react, the boat lurched away from the dock, spinning slowly into gray current. Her heart pounded. No, no, no! The waves grew rougher. She tried to grab the oars, but they were gone. And then, from the shore, she saw him, a man in a black coat, watching, smiling. A sudden wave hit the boat. She lost her footing and fell into the freezing water. It was like knives stabbing her skin. She kicked, gasping, the cold stealing her breath. The current dragged her under. Again and again, her lungs screamed. This was it, she thought. This was number 6. Then a light, a fishing vessel, about 20 meters away. She forced a scream, barely above a whisper. A man leaned over the edge. Hold on. They pulled her out, half dead, blue from cold. When she came to, wrapped in blankets, she looked toward the shore. The man in the black coat was gone. 6 deaths escaped. After the drowning, the authorities wanted to move her inland again, but the storm that week made it impossible. So they kept her in a rented cottage at the edge of town. Old wiring, creaking floors, and one flickering bulb that hummed day and night. Agnes couldn't sleep. Every sound in the dark felt alive. She'd sit by the window with a kettle of tea, watching the road. That night, lightning tore through the sky. Rain lashed against the glass. The power flickered, then went out completely. She reached for the kerosene lamp on the table. As she struck the match, the phone rang. Her heart jumped. No one was supposed to have this number. She picked up. A whisper. You shouldn't have floated, Agnes. The line went dead. Then the lights came back, but brighter, too bright. A strange buzzing filled the room. She smelled burning. She tried to move, but the metal kettle on the table began to vibrate. Electricity arced from the socket to the kettle and into the puddle of spilled tea near her feet. Agnes froze. Instinct kicked in. She grabbed the wool blanket off the chair, threw over the kettle, and dove to the floor as the explosion tore through the room. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the air. Her ears rang. When she opened her eyes, the walls were blackened, the bulb shattered. If she'd moved a second later, she would have been ashes. 7 deaths escaped. By now, the press had gotten wind of the woman who couldn't die. They didn't know her location, but headlines screamed. Street cleaner survived 6th assassination attempt. Witness to political murder still alive after a year. That exposure changed everything. She wasn't just a witness now. She was a symbol. And symbols had to be erased. 3 weeks before the court hearing, Agnes was escorted to London for a final pre-trial statement. The car windows were tinted, the route unmarked. She sat in the back seat beside 2 plainclothes detectives. For the first time in a long while, she felt protected. But protection means little when death is watching from afar. As the car crossed Tower Bridge, the driver suddenly shouted, "Down!" The windshield shattered. A single bullet tore through the glass, inches from Agnes's head, embedding itself in the seat. Panic erupted. The car swerved, tires screeching, hitting the guardrail. Another shot, this time hitting the rearview mirror. They couldn't see the shooter, only the flash from a rooftop 200 meters away. The detectives ducked low. One shouted, "Move, move!" The car sped through the intersection, horns blaring as glass rained around them. When they finally stopped under a bridge tunnel, Agnes trembled, blood on her cheek from flying shards. 1 bullet, 1 breath away. 8 deaths escaped. 2 days before the trial, Agnes was relocated for the last time to an underground safe house in Essex. Concrete walls, cameras, guards, no windows, no exits without clearance. They said she'd testify via video. They said it was safer that way. She wanted to believe them. The next morning, she woke to silence. No footsteps in the hall. No voices. She called out, "Hello?" No answer. Then she heard the elevator, a slow metallic creak. The door opened. It was Detective Rowe, the same man who'd first taken her statement after the Victoria Bridge murder. His face was pale, eyes hollow. He smiled faintly. "It's over, Agnes. We got them all. You can rest now." She almost cried with relief. He poured her a cup of tea. "You did good. Really good." But as he placed the cup before her, she noticed something. His hands were shaking. Not from exhaustion, from something else. Guilt. Then she saw the tattoo. A faint black serpent curling under his sleeve. The same mark she'd seen on one of the killer's wrists that night on the bridge. Her breath caught. "No," she whispered. He smiled again, too softly. "You should have kept sweeping the streets, Agnes. You were safer there." He reached into his coat. She lunged the cup, throwing the boiling tea into his face. He screamed, dropping the gun. They struggled, her frail hands clawing at him, his strength overwhelming. He slammed her against the wall. "Do you know how long we've been trying to find you?" he hissed. 9 times, old woman. 9. She reached for anything. Her broom, always beside her even in hiding. With a final burst of strength, she swung it into the live socket on the wall. Sparks flew, electricity arcing through him. He convulsed, body jerking violently, smoke rising from his clothes. Then he fell, still. The lights flickered. Agnes collapsed beside him, breathing hard, the smell of burnt air thick around her. The guards rushed moments later, drawn by the explosion. They found Detective Rowe dead, and Agnes unconscious, her pulse faint but present. She survived again. 9 deaths escaped, or so they said. Agnes was moved to a hospital under 24-hour protection. Doctors said she'd suffered a mild heart attack, but would recover. The media called her the miracle witness. The court convicted the Powell killers without her ever stepping inside. The story should have ended there. But the night before she was to be discharged, something strange happened. A nurse came to check her vitals. The CCTV footage showed the nurse walking in, but never walking out. By morning, Agnes's bed was empty, the window slightly open. Her hospital gown lay neatly folded on the chair, and on her pillow, a small scrap of paper. It read, 9 times was enough. Fake tea. No one saw her again. Some say she fled the country under another name. Others say the killers finally got her, and the note was staged. But there are rumors, whispers on the street, that sometimes, late at night, a woman with gray hair and a broom is seen cleaning the sidewalks near Victoria Bridge. Quiet, smiling, watching. They called her the woman who could not die. 9 times death came for her. By knife, by fire, by water, by poison, by bullet, and by betrayal. But maybe death never wanted her at all. Maybe it just wanted her story. Subscribe for more stories of survival that defy every law of fate. Because here, on 9 Life Stories, we don't just tell stories about death. We tell stories about those who outran it,